This is so funny. Edward Baldwin, the ugly fat guy. Oh, what are you talking about? My face looks exactly like Bruce Willis in this light. There's this guy. Don Rickles. Don Rickles. And he looked like he might as well be named somebody named like Don Borgnine or somebody. It didn't matter who he was, and but he's really funny. He's really funny. I would have been friends with him if I got famous back then. I would have been friends with him. I would have, if I, but he's dead. So all these people died, and I didn't get the chance to meet him. I didn't get a chance to meet Robin Williams. I didn't get a chance to meet Marlon Brando and a bunch of the other ones. And so some of them are still alive. So I'm going to go to California and do famous stuff that I had always looked forward to doing one day. And that's what I was motivated to work at, and gave me a reason to want to live and work at things that I liked to do, that I'm really good at, that God gave me abilities to learn about how to do all the screenwriting, filmmaking, and stuff like that. And then eventually I got in front of camera once I learned how to do all the filmmaking stuff, and I learned how to do all the comedy acting and stuff that I'd hoped to do. Singing, playing, I already played music. I learned singing in front of the camera stuff I like to do. So, the funny thing was that Don Rickles, he'd walk around a stage, and there'd be all these people watching, and his body was a little heavier and getting older, because he was pretty old. I think he was born in 1921, and so he was on a stage in 1996, and he was really famous. And one of his speeches, he gave a speech for Ronald Reagan, and he fit right in. It was comfortable, and it was just normal for him. And he said crude things here and there, but it wasn't that bad. He wasn't mean to black people, and he said stuff about every ethnicity, but he was kind of mean. He did joke about Japanese people a little bit. But back then it was a different time. It wasn't as who knows what it's going to be like, because Trump said all that stuff and he was the president. But so I can't wait to get in Los Angeles, and I'd be kind to him anyway. There, Bobby Lee is this other guy, and he just talks about racist stuff, and people say mean things to him, and he just talks about it to Pauly Shore and all these famous people. But Pauly Shore, did the introduction on one of my short films. His mom owned the Comedy Store, so by some miracle, God let me meet him a couple times. I just happened to see him in Los Angeles, and I talked to him at least one of those times. Me and Danica met him and his mom before his mom died, Mitzi Shore and Pauly Shore. They owned the Comedy Store, and he talked to us a little bit. So I got to meet him at this movie theater. He sat right behind us. It was a more expensive movie theater, and it was $20. And back then it was expensive. It was 20 years ago, instead of $6 for a movie. So he went to places like that, so he didn't get killed by random people on the streets or something. So he brought his mom. It's called the ArcLight Theater. You can probably go there now, but I don't know. I'm going there. I don't know what you're gonna do. You can stay here and be a cool millionaire and all the cool stuff you already get to feel good about or whatever, some of my friends growing up. And but I'm going to Los Angeles because I still didn't get to do that stuff yet. But there's something else funny I was thinking about. But Ernest Borgnine, Don Rickles. I know who he is. He's a specific person, but he would make his face look just like Bruce Willis, and he put his face right in the light, making these facial expressions, because it was 1996, and Bruce Willis was the most famous good-looking movie star, and to look younger and cool and really famous, he'd put his face in the light and make it look just like Bruce Willis, and he'd go, "That's me." And he'd say it right to some attractive young woman in the audience, and he'd act yeah, how cool he thought he was. And then he started walking around the stage, and he was sweating and stuff. and they put these dark lights on him, and one of the lights looked like it was red like hell on the side of the stage. I was like, no one even cared about what he was doing or cared about him anymore, but he was just doing a big show, and they paid for it somehow, and he got to do it. But like, they just didn't really care what he was doing. It was like somehow like you didn't see anyone in the audience, and it looked like he was like almost going down to hell, and it was for like the sin he had done on earth, and then like but I think he made it to heaven. Like, I've been watching his videos, and I think he was okay. He was kind of entertaining, and he knew how to sing, and he knew how to write his own stuff, like his own comedy or whatever. Like, see, the thing about you know, you can write your own stuff. If you're an actor, they just memorize the lines that somebody else wrote. And so that's not easy to do, but I can tell you how to be a really good actor right now. You can be as good as pretty much any famous actor if you do this. You just you just memorize the lines, you memorize the dialogue you're supposed to say, and the way you do it, you say it out loud wherever you're talking. I haven't done this in like 10 years. I haven't actually rehearsed dialogue in 10 years. I've tried to pretend I wasn't crazy by pretending I was rehearsing acting lines so somebody didn't take me to jail for being crazy or something. I was so worried about it politically. And so it's just sucked. But it's beautiful here. It's really beautiful here, but you know, how am I going to pay the bills if I stay here? So I'm not staying here. And then here's how you be a good actor. Is trying to put the smell of garbage into my mouth as I try to help others to be a good actor. Let me just actually try to help others. Here's what you do. Here's how to be a good actor. Is there anyone fucking watching this? Well, if you happen to watch it, if you see this video and you want to learn how to be an actor, you memorize the lines by just reading them again and again and again until you know what it says, and try to say it out loud. You have it on a piece of paper and walk around and be able to say it out loud and get to where you can say all the acting lines you're supposed to out loud to where it sounds really good. And you know, my mom doesn't want me to do it. They don't want me to help others to be. Let me ask you some of this. The fuck kind of bullshit little shit agent would I get anywhere besides LA? Fuck this shit.